Us wolves don't do this much, but we're going to be taking a request from Cat. And actually doing it. So this is a special one, as it's a little birthday gift to Wolf Entertainment's Cat. And we're going to be reviewing an episode of Batman the Animated Series with one of his favorite DC characters, probably of all time. Let's take a look into an episode whose name is the same as the guest character, Zatanna. Really? Couldn't go with a more creative title? Our episode starts off with, well, Zatanna herself putting on a show in front of Gotham Mint. Why the Mint? Because rich people love Vegas magician girls, I guess. Like Bruce Wayne. We get a little flashback to Bruce Wayne being taught by good old Catholic Zatanna one of the classic Houdini escape methods while Zatanna is getting wet. As they celebrate Bruce's improved escape time, they also talk about how Bruce is, unfortunately, moving on from his teachings to continue his around-the-world learning from the greatest masters to become the Batman. Zatanna does a little card trick about reading his future, which, funnily enough, she is correct about. Though she was using it to flirt by calling the Two of Hearts so she could try to date him, it's revealed to be the Joker, proving once more that the Joker is the one true pairing for the Batman. As they say some goodbyes, Zatanna does another trick and handcuffs him to a ladder while teasing him that if he's truly a good escape artist, he'd have escaped by the time she turns around. Which he has. Man, I wish I could learn from Zatanna, then I could finally leave this two-dimensional space. We return to the present with Zatanna moving into another act with the director of the Mint and a skeptic of magic. As part of her act, she disappears $10 million, which today would be about $19 to $20 million, but fails to return it, so she is promptly arrested. With this problem, Batman is on the case, starting with breaking her out and making her a fugitive. This talk of being a fugitive, however, means nothing, because it's never brought up since the police presence isn't important in this episode. Batman, with two clues of broken glass and some markings on the floor, almost immediately solves the case. Apparently the mirror Zatanna used to reflect a hologram of the money as part of her act was hidden as a coin in plain sight, so that way the money could be stolen before it all started. With this discovery, the next suspect is the magician skeptic, since he has debunked various magicians in the past before, so he must know their methods. The skeptic is just ominously sitting by his fireplace. Or so we think, as it's actually a dummy with a recording playing. Classic magician's trick. Femwolf does this to me all the time, trapdoor included. While trying to escape, they fall into a trap hole, and fall inside a room with two needle walls that slowly close in. Batman formulates a pretty good plan in just a matter of seconds by using a vial of acid he keeps handy to steal two of the needles. One for stopping a wall to scale as a ladder, and another to pry open the doors. For whatever reason, the skeptic has a weird, plain penthouse suite thing, and escaping with two other guys to a place where extradition laws don't exist. Which, according to this map I looked up, is about half the world. So let's just say he's heading to Equatorial Guinea. Batman dispatches his two goons rather easily, and Zatanna surprises him for a moment, only to get captured seconds after her entrance. Oh, and he's also a bit of a pervert given this line.
I could be persuaded to spare you if properly implored.
Like, he's already been revealed as the villain. Do we really need to make him even worse than a thief? Anyways, he has Batman and Zatanna tied to one another in chains with various locks, and his plan is to drop them in the ocean so they can drown. Before they're thrown out, he and Zatanna use some of his spare lockpicks to break out of their handcuffs while also using a nearby net to hang off of to buy themselves just enough time to escape and endanger the villain's life instead. The next plan is to kill them using the most insidious killer of all time, gravity. Yep. He's just gonna tilt the plane a little and let them fall off. Batman, however, has the upper body strength to lift a small part of the plane's wing enough to level the plane with each tilt. So it's round two with the goons on the wing of a plane, while Zatanna goes after our main man. Oh, and these two goons are definitely either dead or heavily injured. Water isn't a safe thing to land on when you're probably thousands of feet in the air after all, despite what Minecraft may tell you. Zatanna punches him out, clears her name, and the correct guy is arrested now. Batman and Zatanna do a little catching up, and Zatanna pays him back by doing a little disappearing act of her own. What a happy ending. This episode felt kinda fast, honestly, like this review. We get introduced to Zatanna, see how the two are related. Zatanna is framed, then broken out, then immediately we know who the culprit is, the failed first encounter, then we move to the final boss stage. It's just weird as all. As for Zatanna herself, this is not bad for an introduction. Sadly, they don't lean into any of her stuff being actually magical, aside from her backward spell of Arba de Carba, which took me a couple attempts to actually find the proper spelling for it, since her pronunciation of it made me think it was written differently. Heck, the episode barely uses her. I would have liked to see her help in the escape from the Needle Walls, or maybe earlier have Batman ask about what her trick was to try and gain insight on how the culprit may have stolen the money. It would have given her something to do, aside from punch a guy a couple times, get captured, and help Batman escape a thing he probably could have done on his own. Zatanna was unnecessary in her own story. The feeling she has for Bruce will sadly go unanswered, as he's a man dedicated to the cowl, but her being flirtatious with him was pretty fun. Especially her car check being correct, but not the way she wanted it to be. The voices for her and Zatanna were nice. I think I'm too used to the Young Justice voices, so these ones were kind of like getting slapped in the face by something I didn't expect. Zatanna's voice is like that of a normal dude, while Zatanna is that of a mature but fun woman. I wouldn't mind hearing them again, but of the few voices I've heard for these characters, they score pretty low. As for the episode, well, it's a sort of fun mystery for all of 5 minutes. It's definitely creative with how the crime was done, I'll give it that. I wish I tried to lean more into the mystery and play into Batman being a detective as well as a crime fighter, but marketing him as a crime fighter definitely works more. But I wouldn't actively want to watch this episode again. Once is fine enough for me, so it'll sadly be a score of 5 out of 10. It's just fine. Nothing good, nothing bad, but I was entertained. Mostly by the needle pit death trap in the floor of some mansion and Batman's solution to it. Which Zatanna could have helped, given she is the daughter of a great magician as well, but top billing has to go to the Batman this time. Happy birthday, Cat! Hope you still like this review, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye!